Well, now we go. You never go full outlaw, Brian, but they went full outlaw. We've slowly been descending into madness. We had a good wrestling match to start the show, Joe and Punk. Then we had the 6-man tomfoolery, but at least there was an element of athleticism involved and a couple of names that you could do something with. And then FTR and the Bucks, that had to be done, I guess. But now we've gone to the point of no return.
I knew we were in for problems when they announced Giovanni was sitting in to replace Jim Ross. I said, oh boy, he left for a reason.
Yeah, he didn't want to get any of this on him. Not only did they do a football field fuckery match, but they did it with literal job guys, literal preliminary talent in a gimmick match where anything's supposed to be legal. Now tell me, Brian, I double dog dare you. Tell me who was on what team. Who wrestled this fucking thing?
Okay, I could do this. The BCC, so that's Yuta, Moxley, and Claudio. And they're not proud and powerful anymore. Just Mike Santana and Ortiz against the Best Friends, Pockets, Eddie Kingston, and Penta.
God damn it, okay. I didn't think you'd be able to do it. But you realize that since those teams were just put together, literally, last Wednesday night was when Santana and Ortiz came out and re-debuted, right?
Yeah.
So the point is, think about this. You're in an 80,000-seat building with 80,000 people, and here comes a 10-man tag team match. And the teams were just announced 3 or 4 days ago, and some of these people are people that have not even been seen on television through injury or dispute or whatever in a year now. And they're all fighting at the same time in various places in the building. Who the fuck could keep track of who was on what team and who was winning and who was losing at any given point in that stadium?
I mean, it was a train wreck of a match. It was hard to follow.
But I mean, if you were just watching, could you instantly remember, oh, wait a minute, that guy's on the other team, and his guy's on this team, and his guy's, and they changed it within the last week to fucking add these other people that ran in and did this and surprise announcements. It was a goddamn mess from the start. You've got a garbage outlaw mud show indie wrestling match with preliminary talent on a giant stadium show like that where nobody even knows who's on whose side. It was fucking ridiculous. And again, this was every outlaw indie wrestler's jack-off session to do all of this stuff in front of a big crowd. And the plumber was bleeding 2 minutes in. And there were camera shots being missed all over the place because it was such a mess. Nobody could agent this. There was nobody telling the director, oh, make sure you go to camera 6. They're about to do this intricate spot. It was just a mess. And then they have a split screen at one point because there's guys fighting out in the hallway while other people are still in the ring and or in the stadium. And then the fucking plumber pulls out the skewers, whether they're the shish kebab skewers or the whatever the fuck they're for, shrimp on the Barbie.
Chicken satay.
And the other knucklehead drills them into Moxley's head. And he's sitting there in front of all those people with shit stuck in his head for real. What a gimmick aside, wrestling business aside, what a fucking stupid, garbage human being that he must be. Because I've never had the displeasure of running across him. And certainly there's no reason to start now. But can you imagine having 80,000 people, the record crowd in all of wrestling, and the grandioseness that takes in, and showing them piss poor pretend talent in a garbage mud show match like this? And some were in the ring and some were in the back of the royal box. And They had chairs and ladders in the ring, and I started fast forwarding. And Pockets was bleeding, and Trent was bleeding. You know, that's a big fucking deal for the, oh, I'm not only going to wrestle in front of 80,000 people, but they're going to let me cut my head too. And none of this could possibly ever lead to any money being drawn, or it was completely embarrassing. And then here comes Trent's mother's minivan. And she's in it. Did they find a lookalike minivan, or did they carry that son of a bitch across the ocean for this fucking unfunny comedy?
There's no way they did that. I can't. I mean, Tony would do it, but I can't imagine. No way.
Hey, they carried the old battleship across the ocean, Trent's mom, they could have carried her old car over as well. And she handed them pie plates and cookie sheets with cookies on them to use to hit the heels. This is where we're at with these supposed grown adults. And then music played, and Penthouse, who apparently had been sidelined earlier and I missed it, came out wearing a different color gear. And then he took with Santana a bump off of a ladder through a table on the stage. And I said, fuck, where's the finish? I can't take this. I skipped some more shit. I came back, Pockets had gotten a bucket and a bottle and broke the bottle, put the glass in the bucket, wrapped duct tape around his fist with the sticky part outwards, which the fucking idiot announcer that used to do this on VHS from his basement that's now been propped up on a platform like this was telling probably some normal people might have accidentally been watching this. And he was actually telling, well, the reason why he's doing that is because the sticky part's on the outside. So then he stuck his hand in the fucking bucket of glass to make a super glass fist. The fuck? It's like, this is supposed to be the generation of wrestlers that's not on drugs. Is that why the ones from my generation behaved normally, like logical human beings, because they were on drugs? Is this what the human mind comes up with when it's totally straight? Because these people are fucking morons. So as he's got the super glass fist, Claudio and the plumber stopped him, but Kingston beat Claudio up with a chair and then speared the plumber through the table, and then Pockets hit Claudio with the super glass fist. 1, 2, 3. So you now have a situation that was created where the mascot pinned one of the more talented guys in the company who's hidden in this dreck by hitting him with a Superman punch with broken glass duct tape to his fist. This looked like what Ian Rotten would have done if somebody had given him money.
The glass is what he did. That's what he did in ECW with Axel. The
good
Type A death match. Wasn't that it?
That's right. I was talking about the furniture and the stupidity of all of it. The idiocy, the garbage people in a garbage match. 20 minutes of indie-minded marks playing with their own dicks in front of all of us, and we had to watch it. They would be ashamed of themselves, but they think they did something good. I would never have become a wrestling fan if shit like this was allowed, so fake and so stupid. Even at 12 years old, I would have never become a wrestling fan if they let anybody in the business at that point do anything like this. And this is probably the biggest reason why wrestling is a niche product now and is probably going to stay that way, because you've got a bunch of fucking garbage idiots like this poisoning their own well.
Do you think the skewer spot only works on wrestlers losing their hair? Can you do that on a wrestler with a full head of hair to get the full impact?
Well, you know, it seems counterintuitive, because Moxley's the biggest shithead I know, and usually shit grows where there's manure around. But in this case, his head's completely barren, not only of hair, but of intellectual thought or cognitive ability. What do you think? Do you think they gave him the electroshock when he was in therapy?
I think Moxley has a fetish for what was CZW, what is GCW, what is Nick Gage, this, whatever you want to call it, just dirty.
Then why don't they bring out the chicken and let him bite the head off and spit the blood?
Maybe he will. Maybe he will.
And then if whoever's the Rob Zombie that remakes all the horror movies, he can remake Freaks, and Moxley can be the fucking thing in the box at the end with the feathers.
Moxley continues to be an embarrassing guy to have as a professional wrestler. His matches are terrible, whether they have garbage stuff or not. His instincts are clearly horrible. Worst wrestler in the business today.
Well, they gave him what he wanted, which was to go out there and get stuck and cut and pretend to be a bad guy. And after that match, I took a break on watching this show. I said I'd come back. I went and did some laundry, do something enjoyable.